All right, who wants a shot? Quick Shots.
Hey guys, Dylan, Jaynes here, at Air DJ on Twitter, coming to talk to you about the wide receiver 25 on the year, the wide receiver 11 over the past 3 weeks. He's blazing fast, 24 years old, was the 8th pick in the second round of the 2017 draft. It's Curtis Samuel of the Carolina Panthers, wide receiver. This guy has been on fire the past few weeks, very noticeably so. He has the highest catch rate in the league for anyone 30 targets or more, and second most rush attempts for wide receivers in the league. And I wanted to make him a Brooks and Dunn reference, calling him a brand new man, but he's really not a brand new man at all. In fact, he's the same old man. He's the man everyone expects him to be coming into the league. Samuel at Ohio State University had his junior season 97 carries, 771 yards, and 8 rushing touchdowns, and also 74 catches, 865 yards, and 7 touchdowns. The man had over 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns through the air and on the ground. He was, as Eric McClung of Player Profiler called him, super fast and ultra versatile. This was written before the NFL draft, before we knew he was going to the Panthers, and he was called by Eric the most intriguing, high-ceiling player available in fantasy football. Man, what a great recommendation for a draft item to get in that year. Now, if you got him, or if you've been trying to hope for the best for him, he really has not panned out. And I want to take a look at those stats, and so I'm going to try and get a lot of information here in a little bit of time. Back in 2019, Curtis Samuel had 105 targets total. This season, through 8 games, he missed 1. He's at 43 targets, putting him on pace for 86. Target drop. But his catches are going up. So last season, he had 54 catches on those 105 targets, giving him a 50% catch rate. But because he's got such a great catch rate this year, he's actually looking to beat out last year's catches. So right now he's at 38 catches on the year. Looking at a pace of 76 if he keeps up his astronomical catch rate. What's going on? Well, his targets have shifted completely. Average depth of target last season, 14.3 yards per target. This season, all the way down to 6.2. Last season, he made up 30% of the team's air yards. This season, 13.6% of the team's air yards. He's not the deep threat they were trying to make him last season. He is becoming more of the guy who gets the ball in his hands and then goes and does what he does best, which is take care of business. The man, yards after catch, averaging 4.1 yards after the catch. Last season, averaged 2.9. He's already going to beat his yards after the catch total this season, and he's only halfway through. Rushing also going up from last season. So last year, 19 total rush attempts, every single one of them outside the tackles. This season, he's at 22 rushing attempts total, and he's already gotten 10 of them inside the tackles. He's going to move more towards a running back style position than just like, the end arounds and the sweeps and everything. He's not looking at just being a speed guy. He's able to be the agile speed guy that he was called coming out of college. So what happened? I mean, to me, it was a coaching change. We had Joe Brady come in from the LSU Tigers as the offensive coordinator, and Matt Rhule come from Baylor, 2 college coaches, moved to the NFL. So Matt Rhule is a guy who historically has been one to recruit pretty well, but mostly been able to get the most out of all his players, develop them, continue their development over almost all 4 years that they are there. His retention rate's pretty high for keeping the guys around. Robbie Anderson was, in fact, at Temple with him, and look at him now at the Carolina Panthers. And then Joe Brady is probably the one more likely to be, I'd say responsible for Samuel's success. So Joe Brady quickly was a grad assistant in 2015 and 16 at Penn State, where he saw quite a bit of Ohio State. Not really in his favor, but after those 2 years, he moved to New Orleans, became an offensive assistant underneath Sean Payton, who, let's just say Sean Payton enjoys the gadget plays, Taysom Hill, but he knows how to use a player's strength to best benefit the team. Joe Brady is a great, great offensive mind, and I believe that's the reason we're seeing Samuel have so much success, and I think we'll still see more success to come. The rest of the season schedule can look a little daunting, but because Samuel is both a receiver and at times a running back, I would say his schedule is actually fairly favorable. Tampa Bay, Detroit, Minnesota, Denver, Green Bay, Washington, and then New Orleans to finish off the season. That, to me, screams good things for Samuel. He's got the wide receiver production and the running back production, and each of those teams have some kind of hole to find that the offense that Curtis Samuel can exploit. So this week against Tampa Bay is actually a much more favorable matchup than I would say most give him. Last time they faced earlier in the season, DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson went off for over 100 yards each receiving, and Mike Davis and Christian McCaffrey both ran for a combined 130 yards, with Christian McCaffrey tallying on 2 rushing touchdowns. So Tampa Bay was exploitable then, and they're still exploitable now. Their defense is great, but they can be beat by guys exactly like Curtis Samuel, guys who play in the slot, guys who are fast, and guys who are agile. We've seen it before. This past week when the Saints totally demolished Tampa Bay, we saw Kamara and Latavius Murray taking care of business in the backfield, and we saw slot receivers all throughout the season, like Sterling Shepard of the New York Giants, become the leading receiver on their team that week. It's very clear to me that Curtis Samuel is someone you're going to want to roster. And if you're in a dynasty league, if you're in a keeper league, I would look at seeing ways in which you can grab Curtis and keep him, because I think we're seeing Joe Brady and Matt Rhule finally taking care of what Curtis Samuel's talents are and putting them in the positions for him to succeed. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching so much. Hopefully this is helpful as always. We love doing these quick shots. Be sure to like and subscribe. It helps us out as much as it helps you out. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.